We had not the ideal outcome of the Miami Open over the weekend, but still a performance to be proud of and another story of injury for Bianca Andreescu as she falls to Barty in the Miami Open final. But we have a couple of takeaways from that match. So, Max, I will let you lead off with your thoughts.
Yeah, for the most part, it did look as advertised. The number one seed in the world up against a young up and comer who's still trying to put her game together. I mean, Barty was fairly dominant throughout that match while it lasted. Bianca had her moments, but Barty really dominant at the start of that first set, which I thought was interesting. Bianca elected to receive serve and then was broken on her first serve. Like she almost knew she'd want some time to work into it and didn't want the first three games to be two of her serves with the potential to go down 2-0. She had her rally, some momentum in the middle of that first set, but Barty closed it really well. And I thought it looked like two pretty similar styles of play where they're both going to try and play at their pace, kind of relaxed, not throwing absolute killers on every shot, mixing it up between the forehand, the backhand, the topspin, the slices, the drop shots, and just try and feel around for something and then pounce when the moment arrives. And Barty able to impose that style of play better on Bianca. She generated a lot more winners, just taking control of most of the rallies and getting the ball where she wanted, getting Bianca where she wanted, and putting points away fairly consistently. And then second set was off to the same start, but Bianca stumbles. She goes over herself on her ankle. You thought it might have been it right then and there. She took a while to get up and then kind of forgot about it right after because she just went back to playing, but it became pretty apparent shortly after that it was still troubling her and she was forced to retire. So not in that moment, pretty disappointing. When you pull out in the grand scheme, this was far better placement than was speculated or hoped for her in a Miami Open tournament that had all the best players in the world on the female side of the draw competing. So really as competitive as any Grand Slam you're going to get, and Bianca makes it to the finals. So not a week to be shamed about at all. And yeah, I don't know what you thought about this all.
So she will be moving up 3 spots. She'll be ranked 6th in the world, which is just 2 away from her highest ever ranking of 4, which is incredible for someone who's 20 years old. First, I would like to say that. And then second, she will be pulling out of the Billie Jean King Open, of course, in order to rest up for clay season. And my thoughts are that she is still so young, and I can see a lot of the injuries coming from when you're young. And obviously, we know this. When you're hurt, you tend to just go through it because you can heal faster, your body recovers quicker, you can deal with that sort of stuff. And I think when Bianca's at such a beginning of such of a potential for such a fruitful career, she has to see the warning signs here and look to those who have made their careers off of longevity and success. Obviously, like my mind, of course, goes to basketball because that's what I know. But when you've got guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the NBA was like the first player to really start doing yoga and taking care of himself. And that's why he played so long and has the all-time points record. And you've got like guys like Steve Nash. And of course, the most prevalent example is LeBron James. In football, you've got Russell Wilson. I guess in tennis, like you could even say Serena Williams, right? That's a good person for Bianca to look up to. But these are the people who spend so much money and time taking care of their bodies, recovering, stretching, whatever else you need to do. I'm sure I don't know half of the stuff that goes on, even though I took a kinesiology degree, because it's just so advanced in how they treat their players. And she needs to start doing it now because it's frightening to see the number of injuries. Some of them you can call freak, but a lot of injuries come from compounding issues where you're compensating for an ankle or you're compensating for a knee and it leads to a hip issue and you've got misalignment. And so it's something that she really has to be careful about and really actually take the time to fully recover from this one, because like you can see she had those moments in the Miami Open where she's just awesome and completely unstoppable. And you worry that injuries are going to derail a career before it really even gets going. And so I just hope that she can stay healthy and come back and play and maintain her health, because that is, at this point, it's the most important thing for her to focus on.
Yeah, I didn't. Have you followed up on the research? Like, are there any updates on the ankle? I haven't heard anything in terms of severity, time frame.
I haven't seen anything. I imagine it's something minor, but with ankle sprains like that, they can linger. And so you just want to make sure it's healed and you work the strength and range of motion back up. And it's just better off. She made a ton of money off this tournament, so it's okay probably to take this next one off just to make sure that she's fully healed in time for clay season.
Yeah, and I was looking into it. I think she played 4 3-set matches over a span of 5 days, which that's another part of the story and something that was talked about as potentially leading to her last long layoff from injury, just the accumulation and wear and tear. And look, it's not entirely in her control how well her opponents are going to play and when she's going to have those putaways fall behind her. So as much as I'd like to say start winning more matches in 2 sets, that's less in your control than the stuff you're talking about, the strength and conditioning. So maybe someone who's a part of that team just needs to say, look, we're going to be in we're going to be in the pocket for a long time in this career and have a lot of these. We need to figure out how to create an athlete who can survive and thrive in these long 3-set matches, because I think it's better to focus on something that's 100% in your control than say, hey, come on, you've just got to get that volley 10 times out of 10, because that's such a tall order at
Yeah,
the highest level of professional sports.
definitely. There were some comments that I saw, and obviously you're going to get negativity everywhere, of people saying that Bianca uses the injury a little bit as an excuse to get out of the match. Um, it's definitely something that, as someone who's super competitive, it's an excuse that you fallen on before, right? Where you lose or you have to pull out, and it's like, I was feeling this, I was tight here, whatever. But it just feels like with her, like she just seems very genuine in how she plays, and that can kind of rub off a little bit as like cockiness or a swagger that some of the other demographics don't enjoy in a sport like tennis, where it is very professional, conceited. You stay within the lines. And so with Bianca wearing her emotion on her sleeve like she did, and having to pull out in an injury, you can't ever think that she's faking, because everything that we've seen out of her has been completely genuine, whether it's in winning or in losing. And so just screw the haters. Keep going, Bianca.
Yeah, it's like you said, she wears her emotions on her sleeve. It was very clear how devastated she was. I think the match ended on an ace from Barty, and Bianca just collapsed because she knew that on her ankle there was never going to be a sequence where she gets to that serve, and you saw that realization hit her and that the match was over. There's some situations where what you're saying plays out, where you are pitted in a 50-50 matchup and you are expected to compete and do well and win, and the onus is on you to do that, and you can fall back on an injury and say, oh, if it wasn't for the injury, I would have won. That wasn't the story here. She was the underdog going in. She played like the underdog. This was an opportunity to collect valuable experience playing against the number one seed in the world. And every rally, every point, every game counted and was building towards that. It, yeah, like you said, screw the haters. Let's go Bianca.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for our tennis segment. We'll take one last quick break, and I have some baseball news for y'all.